Welcome to Let's Talk About Criminology. Our lesson today is make a list of 4 crimes you've heard about. These could be in your local area, nationally reported, or even international. For each crime you have listed, which people are the victims of this type of crime and who are the perpetrators, those who commit the crime? And finally, why do you think the crimes you have chosen receive media attention? Now, here are my 4 examples. Okay, so let's go. Crime number 1. Boris Johnson and the Partygate scandal. Maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. During lockdown, the UK was forced to be in lockdown. We weren't allowed to socialise with friends or other family members outside our immediate bubble. So whoever you were living with, that was the only people you could be with. You couldn't be with anybody else. Of course, Boris Johnson, the Conservative Party, had a party during lockdown. So who are the victims? We were. The UK citizens are the victims and the government are the perpetrators. And why did this receive media attention? Of course, it's the government. They're supposed to lead by example, but on this occasion they didn't. The government broke their own lockdown laws they imposed on the UK. And here is just some of the press coverage it received. It received lots of media attention for a very long time. And it meant that Boris Johnson had to step down as Prime Minister due to this crime that they all committed. So that's crime number 1. Crime number 2, the honor killing of 2 Spanish sisters. This was a very sad story. 2 Spanish sisters were married to 2 Pakistani men. They wanted to divorce their husbands, and of course, their husbands wanted visas to get into Spain, and of course they refused. The 2 sisters were tricked into going to Pakistan, where they were murdered by their husbands and other family members. So 2 Spanish sisters were murdered by their husbands in Pakistan. The 2 sisters are the victims. Their husbands and other family members are the perpetrators. Why did this receive media attention? It's very rare to see honor killings in the media. And here we have just one piece of media coverage from The Independent of this crime. So this is crime number 2. Crime number 3, Claudia Lawrence. Claudia Lawrence has been missing since 2009. She finished work, was out one evening and was never seen again. There's been new leads on this case, but obviously has come to nothing. So of course, Claudia Lawrence is the victim, the perpetrator. We just don't know. As I said earlier, new leads have arisen over the years on this cold case, but still hasn't produced any further information. The police probably think that she might have sentenced herself to a new life. There's nothing to prove that. I put here just some additional information about what happened the night before, well, the evening she disappeared. Lawrence told her mother that she was at home and that she planned to retire early since she would have to rise before 5 a.m. the next day in order to walk to work. Her car being under repair, she sent a final text message from her mobile phone at 8:23 p.m. and the final incoming text was received at 9:12 p.m. Thereafter, nobody is known to have seen or heard from Claudia Lawrence. So unfortunately, nothing has arisen since then. And of course, this is just one piece of coverage of her disappearance. There's lots and lots of coverage on this case. If you want to read this case, of course, you can have a look on Wikipedia. There's lots of information there. So this is crime number 3. Crime number 4, Ruth Wilson. Ruth Wilson has been missing since November 1995. Now, I put a question mark on number 2 here. Ruth Wilson is the victim. I'm not sure. This case is very strange. Again, if you look at Wikipedia, you can see it was very messy. To me, I think it was planned the way it was up to her disappearance. So anyway, like Claudia Lawrence, new leads have arisen over the years on this cold case, but still hasn't produced any further information. And here we have just one piece of media coverage. There was, again, lots of coverage on this case. Ruth Wilson, the schoolgirl who caught a cab to oblivion. Now, the story is Ruth Wilson caught a cab, took her to Box Hill in Surrey, which is just all woodland. The cab driver dropped her off and of course drove off, but the cab driver was looking in the mirror to find out, why have I just dropped her off there? Of course, the police interviewed him. He was one of the suspects, and of course, nothing came of that. But even the cab driver was a bit suspicious of why is she just standing there all alone? And then, of course, after that, no one saw her or seen her since. So if you read this case, it's 5 minutes. This is a very short Wikipedia read, and you'll understand what I mean when you read the case, how messy her home life was, and the build-up to that day in November '95. And I think there's 5 possibilities. There are 5 explanations for Ruth Wilson's disappearance: tragic accident, abduction, suicide, murder, absented herself to a new life. I think she started a new life, but you need to read this case if you're interested, and make your own mind up. So anyway, hopefully, I look forward to seeing and reading your 4 crimes very soon. So thank you, take care, bye-bye.